Guys, we're so pleased that we were able to get Jeff Schwartz right on with us. Jeffrey Schwartz is unbelievable, the kind of stuff that he does. And Jeffrey, I know you for quite some time now, and it's unbelievable the kind of stuff that you do. I know you for a lot of years. You're one of these guys that is the brain behind the automotive sector, behind the scenes, right? You're always coming up with stuff. So it's really
I,
good to have you here. And I put it on the site, and a lot of my partners says you're crazy, this, that. Well, a little bit I am crazy, but I'm going to get the real leads, right? So now I have your dashboard confirming that I can show dealers here is the lead that I get, and it's all verified with your product. So tell me a little bit about this bot stuff that's going on the internet. Explain that to us a little bit.
well, thank you for having me, Richie. I appreciate it. And I'll reciprocate and say that you're one of the legends in the auto industry. And so it's a pleasure to be on with you as well. Let me tell you about the genesis of Dentity. And I think that will give you a good background on what problem we're trying to solve. So, I've been in the auto industry for over 25 years. Originally faxing leads to car dealers in the 90s, Auto by Tel. And, the one thing that we see today, I do a lot of private party auto work, but the one thing that we see consistently in the private party auto business, but you also see it whether it's online dating or online commerce, is that it's very difficult to figure out who's real on the internet, right? And it's not just bots, Richie, although bots are an enormous problem, right? I mean, just remember that Facebook deletes about 1 billion accounts a quarter, right? Fake accounts. So that's a lot of fake accounts. And so, you have to sort through not just the bots, but also people that have malicious intent, right? Bad actors. So it's bad actors and bots. And so the reason we originally started Dentity was there wasn't an easy to use peer-to-peer free no cost app that anybody could pick up and verify the identity of people they're dealing with, whether you're selling them a car or they're buying a couch. It doesn't matter, right? The reality is that we do so much on the internet today. We have to have a way to figure out who's real. So that's the genesis of Dentity. And the very first thing we did in building Dentity was to really figure out what the most enterprise grade bank level KYC, know your customer guideline, standard and guideline is. And it turns out that the Department of Commerce, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, NIST, has a digital identity guideline. And so what we did was we built the core of the app using the NIST 863.3 guidelines, which require a document and a face scan. And we immediately, by the way, destroy that data as soon as we verify the identity. So we started there with verified identity. And then, Richie, what you quickly realize is that once you have the consumer, right? Dentity is about the consumer. Once the consumer has their verified identity credential, where do they put it? They need a place to store it, right? And so what we've done is we've built a Web3 decentralized identity architecture that allows the consumer to store their identity documents, issuers to issue those credentials to the holder, and then a way to verify those credentials that's privacy protective. So the entire genesis of Dentity originally was based on how do you verify people you're dealing with online, and then you quickly get to, well, it needs to be privacy protective, It needs to be encrypted. You need to give consumers a better way to store and share their verified identity information.
You know, Jeff, when I came back from Florida, right, I was driving. I got really sick. I got really sick. I got COVID. I got really sick. So that night when I got here, I ordered NyQuil.
Yeah.
Okay? And when I ordered NyQuil, they asked me for the ID. This is from iCart, iChart. I get everything from there because I don't have a lot of time today. You know, I really don't have time to waste today. I'm so busy. And they had ID me.
Yeah.
Right? They had an ID. So the other day I went to CVS to pick up my prescription medicines, right? And I told them, can you order prescription medicine on CVS? No, you got to ask for the delivery through a different place, not there. So I'm saying, wow, it's tremendous. And I know because one of my partners is developing a platform, like an app for delivery too, and we need that stuff. So, and that's one of the reasons why we jumped on this. And some of my partners are probably going to watch this. I want you to meet Jeff Schwartz. You know, that's what he does. But anyway, I went to these places and I says, wow. And that's when I really started seeing the value, right? Because I'm looking for my ID, my driver's license, this, that. You know, they leave it at the door. I order everything where they leave it at the door. They did not leave that at the door. It said I have to ID.
Right.
Even for the alcohol in spring break, I was in Fort Lauderdale, so it was crazy the spring break over there. And I'm wondering if people order alcohol through these apps, they just have that in the system. And let me ask you, once you're in the system, that's it, right? Now you are confirmed. Or you always
yeah. I mean, I think, Richie, you're talking about something that's really important, right? So let's say that you need to verify your identity to have a prescription drug sent to you. And then let's say that you need to verify your identity to have a 6-pack of beer sent to you, right? And multiply that times 100. Okay, so the problem with that system is that your identity documents are now in 100 different places. Is that what you want, Richie? I don't think so. Right? You don't. Right?
No.
Wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better if you owned your identity and those identity documents sat in your digital wallet, and you could share them in a privacy protective way with anybody that requested access to them? Oh, and by the way, you had a record in your wallet of where you shared your information, and at any time you could press one button and revoke access to that information. Moreover, you had a way to share that information in a privacy protective, selective way. Let me give you an example. If you're buying a 6-pack of beer, they don't need to know your birth date. They just need to know that you're 21. And they certainly don't need to know your address, your home address, do they? Right? So what we've created with Dentity is the ability to share data using what's called zero knowledge data proofs, right? So we give you the ability to just share the fact that you're 21. That's all they need to know. If you're buying a 6-pack of beer, they don't need to know that your name is Richie Bello and that you live in Florida or New York and that your birth date is this day. It's too much data. So, and all this is done in a cryptographically secure, privacy protective way that protects your privacy and gives you the ability to push a button and revoke access at any time. See, the problem, Richie, with the identity system that you just discussed is that, it's a very Web 2 identity structure where you give more and more and more personal information to more and more people.
And that's happening right now.
Right. And the result of that, Richie, is that, you've massively expanded the attack surface, right? So your information is in hundreds of different places. And is there any wonder why there's 3 billion identities for sale on the dark web? It's
Right.
obvious, right? I mean, every year or every month, in many cases, you see big tech and social media getting hacked and hundreds of millions of records being released. So that's a broken system. It doesn't work anymore. So the new architecture is what's called Web3, right? Where you have ownership of the attributes about yourself that are important, and you have the ability to selectively disclose information in a privacy protective way with the people that you want to share your your information with. And moreover, you have the ability to keep track of where you shared your information and revoke access to that information at any time, right? And so what you're doing with ShopSmart is part of that architecture and infrastructure, right? So you're verifying identity, and if anybody ever wants to revoke access to that information, they can. It's their information, Richie. It's not yours, right?
Right.
So it's a totally different architecture of the internet that is taking hold with decentralized currencies, decentralized identity, and we're sort of in the middle of that.
And you want to know something, Jeff? What's interesting? Okay, so I'm a little bit of a tech side and a little bit of the automotive sector, both worlds, right? With different partnerships that I have, like Clickable, Look Smart, and all that. But I get a lot of people all the time hitting me up on WhatsApp because, as you know, WhatsApp is my communication of choice. Because where I live, and also I can upload docs there. I can send you information. It's so easy, right? Than even my email. I have people that look at my email. I don't ever look at my email. I'm not a good writer, so I look at my email, right? So anyway, that's what I have. I'm wondering if I can send a link and verify their identity, because a lot of scams are on WhatsApp. I get people that reach me up on WhatsApp all the time, and if you're in the tech world, you're open source, right? All these people hitting up. I don't even know how they find out what you do and all that. They just told me. They go on my WhatsApp, and right away I'm getting hit, marketing all day long, right?
Right.
People I don't know. So people like myself see a value in that. That's why I put it on Smart. My partners didn't see a value, right, in it as much until I explained to them. But then they say, yeah, but the deal is then, and I says, no, but at least we're verified. I don't have to give them the credit of the lead, because I still got to give them the credit of the lead. This 20% of the leads Richie didn't convert, didn't do nothing because they weren't good, right? So I got to give it credit. Now it eliminates that accounting nightmare, because it is an accounting nightmare. It eliminates that process.
Right. So, the unit economics, Richie, the unit economics of your business are bound to increase as you increase the veracity, the truthfulness of the leads that you send, the data that you send, right? Because you're the ultimate old school data guy, right? Data is only as useful as it is valid, right? Invalid data is worth nothing, right? You're just wasting people's time, right? Not to mention the upset that it takes with having to give credits and staff hours of trying to chase down people that didn't submit a lead or aren't real people. So the unit economics will prove themselves to be useful in lead generation using verified identity. I have no question about it. And in response to your previous question, Dentity is a consumer app, right? We're talking about the usefulness of Dentity to a business today, but every day we have hundreds of consumers signing up, right? That just need a digital identity, and need it to be able to present a QR code or log into a website, or dating. Let's use dating as an example, right? They want to verify somebody that they meet online, or they're on Craigslist or OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, and they're selling something, a couch, a bicycle, a car, right? And guess what? There's a lot of bad stuff that happens on the internet, right? A lot of really bad stuff. You and I both know. The
Mhm.
malignancies of the internet are only getting worse
Right.
every day, right? Bad people with very bad intent. And so why wouldn't you, as a consumer, it takes less than a minute, right? It's free and it's bank level, enterprise level identity verification that is private and secure. So, so that's what I would say is that it's easy to use for consumers, and there's no reason for them not to.
You know, I'm going to tell you something of what really, really, I mean, I've experienced from the 90s, okay? From when 99 or 98 or 97, I forgot, when Clinton, it went online, right? At the poll company, everything went online. Everything became web-based.
Right.
When that web-based happened, it was a different internet.
Mhm.
Totally different animal. When you
Yeah.
had, no WordPress, when you had nothing, when you had these sites that were built by Fireworks and Braindreaver, right?
Mhm.
It was different, the internet. The evolution came in, right? The evolution came in. Google crawled, right? So now it becomes legal for you to crawl. They call it, it's called scraping, really, but it's really crawling for competitive analysis. That
Right.
opened the door. That was the first in.
Right.
Online, you got all these open sources. It's easy to break into anything. It's not really
Right.
hard, especially if you know, right? It's not easy.
Mhm.
It's easy to build these crawlers for competitive analysis. Now imagine how easy it is to develop crawlers to hit your inbox and put a link on there and market you. Because right now, marketing's all over the place. They go to Google My Business, they market you. They go to Facebook, they market you. They go to your own page on Facebook. I'm in the process of probably shutting down all my Facebook pages, okay, right now.
Mhm.
Because these business pages, I'm getting people that do Bitcoin marketing me. LinkedIn out of control. I don't even go on social media anymore that much because it's like these marketers are just hitting you all over. So they're
Right.
building all these things that are just for a marketing perspective. So
Mhm.
they're
Right.
generating a lead because they know you're paying attention to that lead
Right.
when it hits your CRM, and then they're putting a link in there and a link. But the truth of the matter is that if that link goes to your database on your website's
Mhm.
hacked,
Right.
right?
Right. I
So
see there's a question here about that, Richie. If you'd like me to respond to that, it
it would.
says it's becoming increasingly harder for. Is it becoming increasingly harder for businesses to gain access to lead data? So very consistent with what you're talking about right now, Richie. What's happening with web marketers is that there's two big streams of change. Number one, app tracking has gone away, right? So most consumers are turning off, on iOS, the ability to have apps track and use their data. So cross app tracking. Number two, we're going to see in the coming year, likely that Google and other browsers are going to eliminate the cookie, the third party cookie, right? So what does that mean for marketers, Richie? What it means is that you're going to get bombarded with a lot of spam trying to collect data from you, right? Because they can't profile and target you anymore. So what the implications of that, Richie, are that zero party data, the data that I own and
Right,
I give you, right?
right.
Zero party data and first party data. It's the data that I own about myself and I give you permission to use. That data is going to become data gold over the next few years, right? Because the ability to profile users based on app behavior and cookie behavior is gonna diminish and ultimately go away. So we think that that works really well for consumers that have identity wallet because it's in essence a zero party wallet, right? It's where they can store all their identity information. By the way, not just their driver's license and social security number. Those are identifiers. That's the least of what we do. You know, if you're if you have an account on ShopSmart, you can hold a ShopSmart credential. If you're a member of AARP or AAA, you can hold those credentials, for example, in a wallet like ours. And so, you know, what we're really finding is that marketers are increasingly coming to Dentity, and we have businesses signing up every day now that are interested in that one-on-one relationship with their stakeholders.
Yeah.
And interested in using it as a way to create customer loyalty and then also find new customers.
And you want to know something, Jeff? And the people that are not jumping on board, right? That are not, that's going to cost them. It's like the evolution. I was in the car business, so I could relate to it. It went from showroom traffic to phone traffic.
Right.
From phone traffic to online traffic. There was a time it was fax traffic, okay?
Yeah.
It was fax traffic.
Like we were sending you faxes, Richie,
right.
back in 1997 and 98. Yeah.
Right. And there was a time where we used to fax all these customers through a fax machine,
right.
the delis and all that on promotional. That's over. So the evolution has gone. Now there's a new evolution, okay? Nobody wants leads that are not real. Nobody wants to waste their time today. Time is a very important thing today because we've got all these things around us, massive technology that we don't have the time. So time, people don't want to waste time no more. People want to go and hit it. And your product is a direct hit. It's like if I have an Intel missile and I launch it from here and it only hits your hat, it doesn't hit you and it doesn't hit nothing around you, right?
Right.
That's what you have. You have a direct hit Intel that you want. Hey, you guys want credited leads that are real leads? Here's what you do. You got to put this on your site. Hello. I mean, and you know, as the dealer sector takes forever to go with something, automation has been around for 17 years or 18 years. Email automation and all that's been around forever. Now's when the dealer space 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago, they started doing it. As the automotive vertical is what takes time in everything. I got my own thoughts that are reserved on that, why a dealership takes so long to do something, because it's a selling process. When they sell cars and all that, they're always finagling and all that. So they think everybody's finagling, right? So they have that mindset. You can't help it. That's just who they are. So that vertical takes on longer. But let me tell you something. I have it already. And more people are going to get it. I mean, the cars.coms of the world and all these people are going to get it because dealers are complaining. When I promoted your live on Sunday, I got a call from a good friend of mine, the general manager of a dealership. So he told me, Richie, I saw that thing you put on your site, this, that, and you know. And I says, listen, I know. And he told me, and you don't want something, Richie? On the good side, that's really taking care of a problem because we spin our wheels. I talk to these BDC people and say, why do you call this one that one that? This is, we've called them 10 times.
Right.
He called me Sunday, right, to talk to me. You know me, I communicate with, I call these 20 people a day that I need nothing from, right? At least, including Sundays. And he told me that. And I says, well, you want to know something? This is really working, you know?
Right. Richie, imagine the amount of money spent, the opportunity costs, money spent on chasing fake people. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. So why wouldn't you make a vote for everybody's verified? And look, if somebody wants to buy a car from you, they shouldn't have a problem verifying their identity. It takes less than a minute. And you know, our promise to the consumer is, well, we're gonna keep that information in a cryptographically secure, right, public private key encryption, privacy protective place, And so the benefit to the consumer is there, and the benefit to the business is there.
You have a question? You have
Yeah.
another question? We should answer this.
Okay, so is my verified identity tied to one website or business, or can I use it in other places? No, it's your identity. You can use it anywhere, right? And so that's the difference, Elizabeth, between having your identity verified by a website where they own your identity, right? And you getting a verified identity credential in your own wallet. And so you can use that anywhere. So that's the nature, Elizabeth, of Web3 decentralized identity. It allows you to own, what's rightfully yours. Oh, and by the way, just as an aside, the big tech and social media giants, they make billions of dollars on your information, billions selling your information, right? So why wouldn't you get in that stream of revenue and be a player in the marketplace for your own identity information? And you should be able to choose, Elizabeth, who has my information and what the value exchange is. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're a member of AAA and you hold a digital credential in your wallet that you're a member, right? And let's say that you go to hotels.com and they say, hey, verify your AAA membership online, verify your AAA membership, and you're going to get 10% off on your first booking. I'm just making this up. So that's a way for you to make your identity an asset, right? Why wouldn't your identity be an asset? It should be. Everybody else makes money on you. Why shouldn't you get the benefit of owning your identity information? So it's a great question.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that. Really appreciate that. Jeff, and the product that you have is really amazing with what's going on in today's world. And you always manage throughout the years to come up with a product that's a home run all the time. Right? People don't realize something like myself with ShopSmart. I failed within the process of ShopSmart about 29 times.
Yeah.
Okay. But I didn't quit. I don't give up. So now is when I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm a data guy, so it's very easy for me to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention something. There's some stores out there. There was one store in particular, pretty big dealership, that said there's a site like a Cars Guru that is getting let me tell you, it's perfectly legal, crawling. And it's not that I have your search data. I had your search data 10 years ago with LookSmart.
Yeah.
Because just in case people don't understand, I got all the search data of every dealership and every search of cars for the last decade, every day, because LookSmart does the same ads as Google, right? We're publishers. We do the same ads. So every ad that you see on Google, we have on LookSmart. So it's not like Cars Guru, because Cars Guru don't have LookSmart. We do. And we got all that search data anyway. So I failed 30 times with ShopSmart, but as you don't quit, so you succeed, right?
Yeah.
You came up with something here that's like unbelievable. I'm so impressed about it that I got to put it everywhere. I
appreciate it.
I have a site that's called USMMP. So that site is where we do ads, PPC, right? For not just the car business. We have a lot of credibility there. But we use a tool that blocks bots.
Yeah.
That tool is expensive, It's only PPC. So I that's why I got into this with you. Because I said to myself, if I'm buying this tool for ads, right? Organic is the same thing. This system of Jeff is protecting all these things that that hit your site. And you get these fake contact forms. People don't realize they're set up. These are texts that are doing that. They're set up, right? They're set up to really take your technology out. They're set up to hack you. That's what their goal is. Their first goal is to hack you, right?
Right. Jimmy or Richie, let me just make one point. I think you're bringing up a really interesting point, right? there's all these data privacy requirements, right, that dealers have. We all have, right? So it's GDPR. Right now it's CCPA, right, the California Privacy Act. But soon enough, there's going to be 50 different privacy regulations in every state that not just car dealers, but every website's going to have to honor. You know, one of the best reasons to use Dentity, you don't have one stitch of data stored, personal data stored or processed on your server. So it means that you're 100% CCPA and GDPR compliant, plus all the other states, you know, that you're going to have to manage, right? And so we do that for our customers, right? We're HIPAA compliant, we're GDPR compliant, we're CCPA compliant, we're SOC 1 and 2 audited, you know, we're ISO certified, all that kind of fancy stuff. Data at rest is stored using AES 256 encryption. Data in transit has its own standard. That's you know, TLS plus many other standards, MAC compliant. So this alone, right, and the implications of dealers, car dealers, getting hit with lots of privacy regulation lawsuits, which you see now in the market, and not storing that information. I'll give you an example. When you walk into a dealership, Richie, and you want to do a test drive, right? What do? Typically, they take your license, right, and they walk up to the you know, the reception area or the sales desk, and what do? They take a photocopy of it.
Right.
I mean, that act is the most non-compliant, not privacy protective act of your most valuable personal data, right? Like, we don't realize, like, look, I've been in car dealerships for 25 years. I've owned car dealerships, right? There's pieces of paper flying around everywhere that shouldn't be, right?
Right.
So I'm at, you know, on our system, right? A retailer, car dealer can scan the license. The salesperson can have a QR code on their phone. You can verify the identity. It takes less than a minute. You never have to process personal information. You never have to store personal information. You're totally removed from data compliance standards. And we handle data compliance, right? If a consumer wants to delete their account and be forgotten, we handle it. If a consumer wants to revoke access to information that they've shared, they can do that in the Dentity web app. So it's a big issue.
It's a very big issue, and it's a very big product. And my friend Jeff Clark from Social Dealer says, I love this ID verification. You know, everybody's asked me, you know, with the data that I sell and all this compliance. Well, this has put it at a different level, because now I am compliance. Now I am right. But not only that, I didn't do it just for that. I did it. I'm tired of the leads going to a dealership, this one, that one. Now they can't say that to me.
Right.
Now I don't have to give them back 20 or 30 credit or 10 credit or 5 credit or 1 credit.
Right.
I don't have to do that because of your system. And yeah, I'm going to get less leads. As a fact, I can show you my gold went from 150 to 70. And right now I'm dropping to 65 since I put it. But so what? Those other leads were not leads anyway.
Right.
Who cares? I don't really care. I care about giving a quality product. That's what I care about, because when you give a quality product and the right product, and you generate your own thing and your own leads and you're gonna always prevail. You're never gonna prevail when you have something what I call hacked. When you got something that's hacked, it's not gonna work. Yeah, to the naked eye, is gonna look good. To the naked eye, is gonna look.
Richie, look, you've always been a leader on this stuff, and you've always been ahead of most people in the industry. I'm convinced, Richie, that your unit economics over time are going to equal or exceed what you've done without qualifying your leads. I'm convinced of it. It just may take some time, But I'm also convinced that as you get around and talk to folks in the industry and your potential, customers, car dealers and dealership groups, they're going to give you a vote of confidence because there's not a lot of people that see the industry the way that you do. So you'll get the vote of confidence. I mean, Jeff obviously is a big deal in the industry, and he's giving you a vote of confidence right here, right? So it's out there. What I would say is, from our perspective, it takes about a minute to sign up for a business, right? You can go to dentity.com and you can just click on business and you can create an account. And within, a matter of minutes, you can be doing this yourself. So every car dealership, every organization that's out there looking at it, it's super easy to sign up. And it's very cost efficient. It's a matter of pennies and dollars to do one of these verifications, and it'll save you labor, and it'll increase the value and veracity of your product. Your product will be real; it won't be filled with a bunch of fake people, right? And at some point, Richie, we all, you've been doing this for 30 years, like I've been doing it, right? We've been around for a while. We all have to make a stand, right? We have to make a stand for a safer internet and a more real internet, right?
Right.
And that's,
because the internet was real. When the internet first came out in those Clinton days, it was pretty real.
I agree.
It just like in 99 or 98 when web-based started, when Reynolds and Reynolds went on web-based, okay? It was pretty real. You didn't have this thing. So the evolution of all this data going and this, people seeing opportunity, and that's what's really hurting it. The internet was a safe place at one time. It ain't a safe place anymore. And even in business, for you to do ads and all that, you get a bunch of leads. If you hire a PPC company that doesn't have the bot block, right, that's very expensive, it's unbelievable, And here's what Jeff says. That's perfect, The dealerships need to really understand this, because the internet is like a nightmare now. I mean, really. And then they cancel your service marketing agency. They tell you, listen, this doesn't work. I got all these leads. Well, you're not doing something to protect that landing page. You're not doing something. It's better to get less leads, but get quality leads.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. We all have to look, and it's just good business, Richie. Like, ultimately, you're doing good business because you're going to get more customers that agree with your view that this is the right way to do lead gen, right? I mean, it's a commitment and stand that we all have to make.
And Jeff, I really want to thank you for being on the show. I've learned throughout the years so much from you, and I always stay in touch with you all the time. Drive you crazy. So many times I call you, right? But you're a good friend. You're a friend. You're a family. You've always helped me throughout the years, and I'm very grateful that I met you, and I met you and what your brain is about. Getting to know you has really helped me grow. Like, there's a few guys out there that we all talk all the time, and you have to be one of them that I'm always communicating with. And
I appreciate it, Richie.
When you develop this, right away you started up developing, and you told me, and I was like so impressed. And I told you, I'm dying to put this on ShopSmart, just dying to do it, because it's going to stop everything. Dealers, last thing I'm saying is, I urge you to get on this platform. Call Jeffrey. I do whatever it takes. Jeff, what's your number?
My phone number is 818-481-9161, and you can email me at Jeffrey, Jeffrey, at dentity.com. And because Jeff is active here, I just want to make a comment about social media, since his company is the social dealer. Social media is uh, a great place for verified identity, right? You don't need to be a real human being to create an account on Instagram, right? You don't need to be a real human being to create an account on Facebook. They've separated identity from account onboarding, right? And so I'm sure a lot of what Jeff helps his customers do, his mini dealers, is sort through who's real, right? Because a lot of fake bot traffic and fake people communicating in that channel doesn't help anybody. And the very people that have a blue check mark and are verified on social media are exactly the people that don't need to be verified, right? It's the big influencers and the celebrities and all these other athletes and people that you already know. And so one thing that we're focused on is how do you use in a privacy protective way that protects the consumer, right? Because consumers generally don't want to give more of their personal information to big tech and social media, right? It's been proven, Richie, that the more information you give to these guys, first of all, they're going to lose it. And second of all, they're just going to micro target you they're going to follow you everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so, Dentity is a consumer company, right? Our focus is with the consumer. And our entire mission is to help consumers build trust online, protect their privacy, and own, right? It's trust, privacy, and ownership. It's those three things that we think are helpful to the consumer, right? And that's where we're focused. And so anybody can use the service. Any consumer, it's free to use. Anybody can come in and create an account and sign up in a second. And it's useful on social media. It's useful in automotive lead gen. It's useful in peer-to-peer commerce. It's useful in so many places. So we're flattered, Richie, that you've selected us to help you. Jeff, you are right. Protecting your PII is critical, right? I mean, that's your most valuable asset. And Jeff, the really interesting thing about there's a new standard that's been published by the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, which is the Internet Rules Organization. And they've created a new data standard called verifiable credentials. Verifiable credentials are similar to NFTs in that they're tokenized. They're a tokenized representation. They can be on-chain or off-chain, but the most important thing is that they're privacy protective, they're cryptographically secure. And so there's a new way for people to own and store their personal information. And we just got to get more people owning their identity and make this ubiquitous. Because the interesting thing, Richie, is that all those people that verify their identity through Shop Smart Auto, when they go to log into another website, or they want to buy a prescription, they're having a prescription, guess what? They only need to do this once. They've already verified their identity, right? They did it with Shop Smart Auto, but it's an identity credential that goes far beyond Shop Smart Autos, right? They can use it anywhere. So,
and that's what I want them, right? And that's what I want to, because now people have it in their mind. Wow, when I went to Shop Smart Auto, I already verified it. Now I can go anywhere, because they don't know the system. So then that's the retention that I'm going to get. See, I thought about that from when I talked to you. So that's what I want to happen. I want it to, because consumers only remember something positive that they had. If they had a positive approach, they're going to remember it, and that's never going to leave their brain. The other thing, I'm going to mention something here real quick and tell you, I've noticed I get crawled twice a month. And I don't have that data yet, but I'm going to tell you something right now, something you should know. I'm analyzing through SMrush the crawling, and I'm seeing something funny. And I don't know if that has to do with you. I'm seeing the analytics drive up on the crawling process from Google. Yeah.
Good.
I don't know if that's because it's friendly to that, and Google might have either their Penguin or their technology in the same sandbox technology or something that's helping that crawl process. But I'm seeing all the inventory where the form is, that page is getting higher and higher increase.
I like that. I like that. That's
Download.
good. That's good. That's good to know. That's good. That's good to know.
Download this report and I'm going to send it to you so you guys actually have something to see. And I'm looking into it with the data part, and I'm looking at it really, really intense to find out if it's because of that or that's helping.
Yeah, that's great.
Because you know, as a business person, it's 1%. If you do something, 1% of this, 1% of that, nothing is going to increase your business. But when you do all 10 things, 20 things, that's when you're going to grow.
Right.
Not
I'm in agreement.
But it's going to help you achieve what you need to.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. And Jeff, to your comment, I'd be honored and happy to write a blog on Social Dealer. Just hit me up on LinkedIn or call me or text me. I think you know my number, 818-481-9161, and we'll put it together. All
right, guys. Thanks a lot. Jeffrey.
Okay.
Man, it's always a pleasure talking to you. You know, I'll call you
Richie.
You know, I'll call you about 30 times this week. So
yeah.
I love you, bro.
I appreciate you, Richie. Thank you, and good luck. I'm really happy with what you're doing at Shop Smart Autos. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye.